Hey guys, it's Jan. I've been doing landscape photography for years, which also means I have made pretty much every mistake you can imagine, usually more than once. I chased light, rushed to locations at the last minute, trusted forecasts blindly, and hoped it would somehow work out. And most of the time, it didn't. I kept seeing strong images online, full of glow and mood, and I couldn't understand why my photos often look flat, lifeless, and boring. I assumed it was luck, that some photographers were simply blessed with great timing or ideal conditions. Over time, one point became clear: the best photographers don't chase light. They predict it, and that's exactly what this video is about. The funny thing is, the light was often there. I just didn't know where to stand, when to be there, or what direction to look. I was guessing instead of planning. In this video, I will show you how to stop guessing and start predicting light. And at the very end, I will share the single mistake that ruined years of my sunrise photos. Once I understood it, everything changed. Before we continue, just a quick note. This approach comes straight from real fieldwork. It's how we shoot on expeditions and how I teach photographers as well. We run small group photo expeditions built around light, timing, and real decisions in the field with multiple instructors involved. We work in places like Alaska, Namibia, the Hebrides, Lofoten Islands, and other destinations where light and conditions play a key role, and you have to make the right calls on location. Alongside that, I work one-to-one with photographers in mentoring. It often serves as preparation before an expedition, follow-up work after a trip, or a solid option when travel isn't possible at the moment. In that case, my one-to-one mentoring is linked below. Alright, let's break this down and talk about how light actually works. This is not about luck. It's not about owning expensive gear or upgrading your camera every year. This is about a shift in how you approach landscape photography. It's the difference between working without a plan and working with intention. Instead of hoping for good weather, you learn how to read signs, use a few simple tools, and understand where light will appear and how it will shape the scene. You'll break down how light works, how to plan for it, and how to show up at the right place at the right time more often. The goal is simple: stop chasing light and start meeting it. One of the biggest turning points came after a sunrise shoot that felt in every possible way. I drove 6 hours in the dark to Austria, hiked a location I had found on maps, set up my tripod, and waited. But nothing happened. The sky stayed flat and grey. No color, no contrast, no drama. As I packed my gear and walked back to the car, the sun finally broke through the clouds and lit up an entirely different valley. I was in the wrong place, looking in the wrong direction at the wrong moment. That morning made one thing obvious: if you want a strong image, you can't rely on luck. You need to understand how light behaves. You need to know the path of the sun, how clouds shape contrast, and how terrain controls where light actually lands. You can't just wait for sunrise. You need to plan how light will move through the landscape. And this is the key idea. Light is not random. It follows structure. Once you stop treating light as something that just happens and start seeing it as something predictable, your photography changes completely. You move from hope to intention. Over time, you develop a strong visual instinct. You start to feel what light is about to do because you understand how it works. And before that instinct fully develops, you can use a few simple tools. To predict light, you need to understand two core elements: quality and direction. Light quality answers a simple question: is the light hard or soft? Hard light comes from a clear sun high in the sky. It creates strong contrast and deep shadows. This kind of light is difficult for color landscape photography, but it can work very well for black and white. Softened light is created by clouds, fog, or low sun angles. It lowers contrast and reveals textures. Forests, waterfalls, and subtle scenes benefit greatly from this type of light. Direction is even more important, and this is where many photographers get confused. Backlight means the light source in front of you, behind your subject. You are shooting towards the sun or moon. It creates a large dynamic range and often requires exposure bracketing. You have to deal with reflections, flare, and careful exposure control. Many photographers avoid that, but backlight adds a visible light source into the composition. The sun or moon becomes a clear element in the frame. Depending on the terrain, backlight can partly light the foreground and midground, while mountains or ridges often stay in shadow. The overall play of light and shadow is usually softer and less dramatic. Front light means the light source is behind you. It can beautifully light distant mountains that were in shadow during sunrise, but the foreground and midground often remain dark. In reality, the scene can feel impressive, yet the final image you may end up is a large dark area and only distant highlights. And as I have explained in previous videos, light and shadow are what creates space and a three-dimensional feel. This is why sidelight is so powerful. Light coming from the left or right creates the strongest interaction between light and shadow. It reveals shape, texture, and scale. Shadows are longer, contrast is often stronger, and the landscape gains clear structure. Sidelight is often underestimated, but it's one of the most effective types of light in landscape photography and absolutely worth your attention. The good news is you don't need years of experience to work with light like this. You just need a smartphone. Apps like Photopills or TPE are great, but my personal favorite for many years has been Surveyor, especially the Pro version. What I like most is how practical it is. You are not just looking at sunrise and sunset times. You can see the exact path of the sun and moon, check angles, and plan light for a very specific spot. The live view mode is a game changer. You can stand right on location, hold up your phone, and see exactly where the sun or moon will move across the scene. So instead of guessing, you can check if the sun will actually rise behind that pine tree you want in your frame, for example on the 2nd of October 2029. No surprises, no hoping it lights up. The Pro version is also great for night photography. You can see the position of the Milky Way, moon phases, and moon rise and set times. It helps you decide when a night shooting makes sense, when the Milky Way will be in a good position, or when the moonlight will support the scene instead of ruining it. You can plan twilight, blue hour, and night session with real confidence, not just guesswork. Used properly, this kind of planning completely changes how you work in the field. You arrive with a clear plan, you know what to wait for, and you know when it's time to move. That's exactly how I work during photo expeditions. Guessing is not an option when people depend on your decisions. We position ourselves based on light direction, terrain, and timing. Sometimes it means moving early, sometimes it means waiting, sometimes it means changing plans completely. Not because the forecast changed, but because the light did. To predict light properly, you also need to understand clouds, not just if there will be clouds, but what kind of cloud and at what level? This is where many forecasts fail for photographers. A simple weather icon doesn't tell you much. What really counts is cloud layers. Low and mid-level clouds are usually our enemy. They block the sun completely and prevent light from reaching the scene during sunrise or sunset. Even when the timing is right, these layers can kill the light entirely. High clouds are different. Often they are thin and they can catch color beautifully. These are the clouds that glow during sunrise or sunset and create dramatic skies without blocking light on the ground. That's why tracking cloud layers is so important. To do that, you need forecast apps that show low, mid and high cloud cover separately, not just one general number. I often use tools like When2Sky, Windy or Meteor Blue because they allow you to see cloud layers movement and timing much more clearly. Some of these apps also show cloud-based height, which helps you imagine how the clouds might actually look if the forecast plays out. Another key point is cloud movement. It's not just about what happens at sunrise or sunset, but about what the clouds are doing beforehand. Watching how cloud systems move in the time leading up to golden hour gives you a much clearer idea of what might happen when the light arrives. When you combine cloud layer forecast with sun planning and local terrain, you can eliminate a huge number of wasted photo trips, easily by 70 or 80%. You will not be right every time, but you will be wrong far less often. Of course, forecasts are still just forecasts. Reality doesn't always follow them, and that's actually one of the best parts of landscape photography. Conditions are never identical. Light changes, weather surprises you, and if you don't fake skies in Photoshop, don't add artificial fog, light, or other popular social media tricks, then landscape photography becomes about challenges, patience, and you're revisiting the same places again and again. But when everything finally comes together, the reward is massive, and that's exactly why it's worth the effort. And now the hack I promised at the beginning. The one mistake that ruined years of my sunrise photos. For a long time, I treated a location like a single point, one spot, one direction, and I waited. If the light didn't happen right in front of me, I told myself the sunrise failed. The change was simple. Stop planning one spot. Plan options, same location, but 2 or 3 viewpoints and 2 directions ready in advance. One for front light, one for backlight, one for sidelight. So, when the light breaks through in a different valley, you don't pack your gear. You move, turn and shoot. That's exactly what I missed in Austria. I was in a good place, but I was watching the wrong scene. The light arrived, just not where I was looking. So, the secret to strong light isn't luck, it's preparation that gives you options. Learn how light behaves, use tools to predict direction and timing, and build a simple plan with options. Here's a simple challenge. Pick a location near you. Before you leave home, choose 2 viewpoints and decide what each one is for, side light, backlight or front light. Then go out and work the plan. Stop chasing light, start meeting it. And if you want to experience this approach in real conditions, in Lofoten, Iceland, Madeira, Scotland, Alaska or Namibia, you will find our photo expeditions listed below. And if you want to apply this way of thinking directly to your own work, my one-to-one mentoring in there as well. So guys, thanks for watching, stay curious, and trust preparation more than luck. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.
By the way, have you heard that you can join us on our exclusive photography expeditions to Lofoten and Iceland? If you want to know more, check the link below.